Hi. Today, actually, I don't want to talk to any Torah or anything today. I'm a bit angry today, and I do not know how to express my anger because we all, especially uh, Tamil Nadu people, we all knew what is happening right now in Chennai. A girl named Anita who scored 1,176 marks out of 1,200 and who was a girl from a very poor family. Her father is working as a coolie, and she had four brothers, and her mother passed away. Basically, she was, being raised in a men-rounded place, like a men's hostel, I would say. But because why I say this one, she didn't even have an opportunity to express her womanly feeling in the house. She had to go to relations or some neighbors or some other friends or somebody. So the difficulties, the hurdles that she went through, it was humongous that we cannot express in words. There are no words to express it. In spite of this, she scored a high ranking mark, and her aim was to achieve a doctorate degree in medicine and to serve the poor population in her area. But she died, she killed herself, she suicided herself after applying to the Supreme Court for her case, and that case was rejected, and she was depressed mentally and psychologically, and she got. First of all, it really brings very deep pain in the heart, especially as a Christian. Why I bring this Christianity in this one, um, because um, first, first of all, before going even into the Christianity, as Indians, our social system, our social, the arrangement that they have, it has to be revisited back again because we have a feeling that only we study for a doctor or only we study for an engineer. That's the only two professions that we can live under the sun. I'm telling to everybody today, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, education and money is totally different. You don't have to be a doctor to make money, or you don't have to be an engineer to make money. Education never brings you money. And it is a proven history in all over the world. Even the richest people in the world are not educated. The people, those who are not having education, they own the colleges and universities. And the people, those who are knowledge, they go and study there. See, that's one thing that we should take out from our mind, that only the kids, those who study for medicine and they are the good kids, or only the kids, those who study for engineers, or they are the best kids. We should take out that mentality, mindset from our heart. That's one of the biggest things that we should know, regardless of Christian or regardless of any other community. But the other one I would say, as a Christian, I always say that one, we failed to follow the Christianity properly. That's one of the biggest issues. These are the consequences. These are the outcome results. These are the deliverables of the sin that we were doing right from the first century, that we failed to follow the way that we are supposed to follow. We failed to follow the first century Christianity because it is full of the commandments and covenants. And that we didn't follow that one, and we never followed it because the Bible says that, I told last time itself, Jesus was calling for people, those who want to follow him, to become as an healers, to become as a prophet, to become as a psychologist, or like demon chasers. See, but we as Christians, we are supposed to possess those type of professions than the worldly professions in what we are dwelling now. Because think about this one, folks. If any church is bringing up a lot of people or a lot of kids in order to grow, like a like a healer or like a demon chaser, if they train them, if they bring the sanctity in them and teach them and put them in a training. Think about this: the whole church kids will be tomorrow or in the future will be the best kids in the world. They'll be healing, they'll be chasing the demons out. So which one you think the most humble and honorable profession? This is what God wanted. I mean, as Christians, we have a very big thing. And today I'm seeing in the churches, it is horrible because we encourage people, those who are studying in the college, and we give them, oh yeah, you scored like 1,200 marks, you get the, gift from the church. We encourage you. So what about the same church, those kids who didn't even pass the exam? How would they feel? Did you ever address their issues? Did you encourage them to study more, or did you encourage them to bring them? So we are already, doing some kind of mental problems there inside the church itself. We cannot bring the word inside our church, folks. That is what I'm trying to tell. From the beginning, we forgot the commandments. We were totally gone out into denominations and other stuff, and we totally avoided what we're supposed to do. And especially I'm so sorry for these pastors and evangelists or so-called other people. Their kids are not allowed to go into the biblical way of training them up. No, they are very proud. Oh, my kid is an engineer. My kid is a scientist. My kid is in America. My kid is a doctor. No, they have so much of worldly than a saint. It is so sad. Bible is not. That is why, folks, still we are having trouble in India, that we still have a 5% of people or Christianity minority. It has been mentioned as a minority, and we have 85%. How come we couldn't able to achieve? Because our lifestyle is not the way that the Bible talks about. And we claim so many things out of the Bible. We said that we are the people who are blessed people. I mean, we are the people who are going to get all the blessings of the Bible. And we also claim that we are the light of the world. In Gentile Christianity, tell me what light we shed to this world as a Gentile Christianity people. What light we shed? Like just go and gathering people and calling them into Christianity, telling them to make them, hey, you accept Jesus Christ and our Christianity is increased. Is that the one that we are doing it? What other light that we shed in the world? Go and learn from Israel, and they will teach you how many lights they put in the world. And we are claiming their commandment, their promises, and we are faking ourselves. Folks, this is a hard pain, because a girl, a baby, is like my baby. No, she died. It is painful. Realize that, Christians, we cannot fake ourselves. I want to tell you about the John chapter 6, which talks about the more of quote-unquote theological teachings, especially all the theologians. Most of them, they refer this chapter as a theological chapter, because it is the longest chapter there in the John, almost more than 70 verses there. So if you read the John chapter 70, Jesus narrates everything. It's a fantastic narrative of how the Christianity should be followed. The chapter talks about three things. One is about, walking on the waters of the sea, and the second is the 5,000 fed, and the third one is the Judas Iscariot, and, is killing of Jesus. There is a lot of teaching in this one. If you see this one, it is always, Jesus would love to preach the gospel in the mountains. He always ran into the mount, and then he was started preaching. And one of the mount, teaching and preaching, the Mount Sermon was absolutely popular, right? So Jesus, the same like Moses did. Moses was giving the Torah, to the people from the mountain, and he led the people in the 40 years by giving the Torah. The same way, Jesus is exactly, the John chapter 6 is exactly almost like a Torah portion that he is giving. Is it that he is replacing the old Torah unto a new Torah? No, it is an extension of what Moses did on the mountain. Jesus did the same thing. He was basically recasting or reproducing or restaging what Moses did in those days. If you clearly walk through the chapters, You will see a lot of miracles Jesus was doing. Jesus will be appear in Jerusalem one time, and the next minute he will be in Galilee. And people will be so surprised to see this one. How come how did you come over here? That was the God's lordship over all the natural forces. So these are the miracles that he was already performing in those eyes. But we, quote unquote, we only take the miracles of 5,000 bread, or the wine, water turned to wine, and the lame walked, and the blind saw, and the dead raised. But there are other miracles that Jesus was he was performing there. We don't notice all those things. And even about the bread he was talking about. This we have a something different, because he was quoting on it is the bread is not the bread that you had in the wilderness, because he was addressing these things to the Jewish people, especially to the Jewish people, to know that he is the bread, and he is the future bread, like he has given the life and his soul to redeem everyone, not only the Jewish people, all the other people. But the Jewish people were not accepting him as the Messiah, and what he was telling was really confusing them. And even people who were disciples, they left Jesus when Jesus said that I am the bread and you have to eat and drink of me. Then people were so annoyed, and so many people left him. What is he talking about? How come I can drink his blood? You know what, folks? The point is that in those days, Jewish people were slaughtering animals, and they were giving or sprinkling the blood. It is a symbolic identification of the atonement of themselves, offering to the God completely, totally, and becoming a new person. That was the one that they were offering to the God as a bloodshed, and the animal's bloodshed, making it as an atonement. There's been, they were offering to the God by, psychological, it's a mental thing that we can, spiritually, basically, the thing that they're offering themselves. That's the same symbolic way the tables getting turned now in the New Testament way. Now God, he was not sparing his son. He totally offered the son for the sins that we have done in our life. So he shed the blood for our sake. It's a total change of the table that God was offering. That is the implication of the thing that Jesus was telling to them. I am the bread, and one who I am the blood. I mean, if one who will drink my blood will be saved. The disciples, they could able to understand, because he was the bread. Like Moses was giving the bread, through the manna from God. He was feeding the people through manna. The same, that manna, Jesus is telling very clearly in this chapter 6 of John. He was telling that when you ate that manna, people died in the desert. But when you eat this manna, you will never die. That was Jesus' argument. It could be the manna is nothing but the word. The word became the flesh. He was talking about the word, that if you follow, if you read, and you will never die. Same thing like the Samaritan woman. He was telling about the water. If you drink from me, you will never get thirsty. Because there are a lot of comparisons between this John 6 and the Samaritan woman's story in the previous chapters. Because the bottom line is, the people, they never seen the miracle. The Samaritan people never seen God's miracle, but they accepted Jesus Christ through this Samaritan woman. But whereas here in Judea, people, they saw the miracles. They went through the Red Sea. They saw all the miracles happen in their life, but they do not want to accept Jesus Christ. So this is what Jesus was arguing about this one. Now later on, there was a lot of complications. They said that the Christians are drinking blood, this and that. But the main purpose is Jesus was teaching them all the things which are covenant-based, commandment-based. They should not be leaving the commandment. They should not be leaving the covenant. But at the same time, Jesus has to be taken as the Messiah. This was his message completely, totally. In the John chapter 6. Think about this one. You know, most of, in the same chapter, he talks about the Judas Iscariot.